There comes a moment when you realize some people will never ever give you the approval you've been waiting for. Not because of you failed, not because of you are unworthy, but because their approval was never designed to include the real you. And that is a painful realization to come to. But the truth of the matter is that it is also extremely liberating because the moment you stop building your life around their permission, you will start building it around your own truth. I started building my life around my truth as soon as I stopped seeking for permission and approval in places that I will never ever get them. And that's what today's episode is about. Because we are going to go into it, we are going to dissect it, we are going to do what needs to be done. Anyway, I forgot to say hi. Hello, hi, how are you? Hope you are good. Welcome to Igbo Queer and Unfiltered. My name is Charles Okeke. If you are new here, make sure to listen every week. The podcast is released every Tuesday. I was having conversations with a friend of mine a few weeks ago. And I said to him, you know, we have built something about ourselves. We have made ourselves powerful, resilient, dedicated, strong, and doing what needs to be done without anybody's approval, without all of these Higi and Haga people's approval. Like literally, I built myself without their approval. And it took me a long way to get here where I understood this, where I stopped seeking the approval and the acceptance and things like this. And he was like, oh my goodness, I have never ever really thought about it like this. I have come to a place where I am just living my life without actually thinking what they think and actually seeking for their permission, like I did many moons ago, where I was waiting for someone in my family to hold me by my hands and say to me, my son, it is okay for you to live your life. I am giving you this approval, this validation, this acceptance, and you can just go into the world and live your life. I was like, this is never going to happen. This is never going to happen. That I need to do something about this and I need to do something about it expeditiously. And I went ahead and said to myself, I am going to continue to live my life, whether they approve it or not. Of course, therapy did help because I accepted my sexual orientation all my life. I did accept myself. I was okay with it, but I was taught shame. I was taught that I shouldn't live my life. I was silenced by way of shame and all of these things. And I had to start to unlearn a lot of these things all over again because when you come into this world as a child, you get to a particular age, you don't even realize that there's shame. You will be living your life until you get to a particular age. That's when you will now realize, oh, who I am is wrong. Who I am is sinful because the world will start to tell you this. Up until I was a teenager, I was fine with my life. I was fine with being a homosexual. Of course, I knew it's not something I'm going to tell anybody, but I did not carry the burden of thinking that I'm going to go to hell all the time until I started hearing a lot of nonsense that made me go back into my shell. And I'm going to say this. I built myself without needing their acceptance, their approval, without family applause, without religious validation, without cultural endorsement. I did all of the things. Because let me tell you something. At some point in your life, you will realize that waiting for approval can delay your entire life. And I think that this is not late for you. I realized this at a point in my life where I thought it was extremely late. Somehow it is not. But I have said this so many times to some of my friends. I have so many regrets through the fact that I did not come out as early as I would have wanted. Because I was there waiting for all of these people to say to me, it is okay, go and live your life. And I don't want this to happen to you because waiting for someone's approval for you to live your life as an LGBTQIA plus individual will delay your entire life. It will make your entire life miserable. It will make you extremely sad and unhappy. And I don't want that for you. It is not our portion. It is not. Can we be for real? Because if you look at it this way, we as humans somehow are addicted to approval. because you always want people to say, oh, that's nice. That's why a lot of people work and live their life and navigate this life, performing and keeping up appearances because they want other people's approval. My dear, I freaking do not care. I am going to live my life unapologetically. And I was addicted to approval because I wanted my brother to approve. I wanted my sisters to approve. I wanted my cousins to approve. I wanted my friends to approve. I wanted everybody to approve. I was so freaking scared of rejection. And I do not want you to live your life like this. Do not be scared of living your life. Do not seek permission in places you will never, ever, ever get that permission from. People who will shame you anyway, they will shame you whether you seek their approval or not. Why do you want it? For what? The thing is that we are raised to seek it, whether we like it or not. And it comes by way of good grades in school, good behavior, good reputation. And before we know it, approval becomes currency, especially in African families where achievements and conformity are deeply tied into pride. It is tied to pride. I was just talking to my niece and my nephew because they summoned me, as they do sometimes, and they wanted something to be done and things like this. And in speaking to them, I just realized how in our culture and our environment, achievements and conformity are deeply tied into pride. Because your parents and your uncles, even me, as I was speaking to them, she was telling me about her GPA. I was so proud. But because I have learned not to live my life through anybody, I just say, oh, that's really, really wonderful. You are doing well for yourself. Even when my nephew will say things like, Uncle, I'm going to take care of you when you're old, I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is not your freaking responsibility. Study, work hard, do what you need to do in school. Because he is doing this because he wants me to be proud of him, to know that he cares and all of these things. And they tell me about their grades and about the things they do in school for me to be proud of them. I am proud of you regardless. I am proud of you, whether you fail or you pass. As far as you are trying and you are doing something that you are passionate about, that you love, that you want to do, that brings you joy, that is okay for me. I don't have children, but if I happen to have a child, if my child is happy, I'm happy. So far as they are not committing crimes, they are not being disrespectful or harmful to the world, I am happy whatever they want to do that is beneficial to them because it is not my business. I am not looking for them to live my life for me. I am not going to live their life for them. And I don't want them to live their lives for me either. So when you step outside of this script of where achievement is tied into pride, especially we as square people, that approval gets withdrawn. And suddenly you feel destabilized because your internal compass was at first your direction, the things you want to do, how you want to live your life, and all of these things, how you navigate everything is someone somewhere directing you, telling you go left, go right, go up, do this, do that, do this, do that. And once your life is like that, it can be extremely hard for you to get to a place where you don't seek approval anymore. And it took me for the longest of time to get there. So the weather has been hot, extremely, really hot. And today I was so tired. I'm just going to share this quickly. I was so tired. And I started to think, I was just going through my life. I started like looking at my life, looking at the journey it has taken to get to where I am today. The things I withstood, the ups and downs, the joy, the sadness, the misery, the fight that I continue to fight, and the people that are no longer in my life, the people that are lost through death, the people that are lost through coming out as a gay person. And I said to myself, you are extremely strong. You are dedicated. You are strong-willed. Despite the fact that Nobody, aside from a few people, actually, maybe like two people, have really, really asked me how I am. How are you mentally? How do you deal with things? And the reason why I'm saying this is that a lot of times when people withdraw the approval of you, how they see you, like some of my relatives and some friends have done, you can either learn how to love yourself, which I do already, or you can develop mechanisms that are trauma response. I think one of the ones I've developed, I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's a trauma response. I don't know how to deal with that. But I said this to my man the other day. I'm not alone. Because life has taught me that I always have to have myself. That is what life has taught me. Life has taught me that I always have to have myself, that I only have myself, that I only have to fight for myself. Whatever comes to it is a plus. Because what life has taught me is that majority of the times, if I don't have myself, if I don't fight for myself, nobody is going to fight for me. So I have learned to do that. I remember a few years ago, I've shared this here before. This has happened to me in so many places that I've lived in Manchester, where I will just be there and I will ponder and I will just be, oh my God, you are alone. And that's fine. Because I realized that majority of the things that I have wanted to solve and deal with for myself, I have never ever had support in that way. And even if I have support, I still am always going to feel like this. Maybe it will get to a point where I will start feeling like I should let people in. And I think because of this, even if I'm with people that I trust, that I love, and and we support each other, I always have it at the back of my mind that I need to always fight for myself, to advocate for myself. I have a friend that was really, really angry with me a few years ago. And he said to me, Charles, why is it that most times when things happen, you don't really like fight for yourself? Why? That you just like let it go. You just be like, don't worry, it's fine. And you're not assertive about it. And I explained to them at the time why that is. But it just happens that now it just feels like I'm extremely assertive as well, because I just feel like if I don't speak for myself, who is going to speak for me? Who is going to speak for me? Nobody has ever spoken for me, has ever fought for me. And the reason why this podcast exists is that the little boy that I was did not have anybody like this. The little boy that I was did not have anyone advocating for us, fighting for us, speaking for us, showing us that we can be where, that we can live our lives, that it is okay for us to be ourselves. And I am still going through that to get to a point where I feel like I can trust people to fight for me. Of course, there are people who fight for me. Don't get me wrong. There are people who fight for me, but I will continue to fight for myself. And that is why I say that I will never ever not feel like I'm alone, even when I have somebody in my life. I am not a lonely person. I don't get lonely. I've never ever felt lonely in my life, but I know how to do things alone. I know how to go to places alone. I can travel alone. I like my own company, because not loving your own company is a problem. I love myself. I can be with myself. I can stay alone. I can do things alone. And at the same time, I can do things with people as well. So I just thought I should share that. But you get to a place whereby sometimes you have people in your life, and when their approval disappears, it feels like loss. You begin to question yourself. You say to yourself, am I wrong? Am I selfish? Am I dishonoring something? The absence of praise can feel like failure. And I have had those happen. My brother used to praise me a lot, used to call me a lot and tell me how wonderful I am, how he is proud of me, and things like this. But that doesn't happen anymore. And sometimes it's proof of independence. When approval is no longer there, it's a proof of independence. I swear. I know a lot of people will not see it like this, but you have gotten to a place where you are living your life independently of so many people, and they can be a part of your life if you want them to be. Even if they still decide to approve your life later, you are an independent human being that deserves to live your life the way you want to live your life. Growth, the reason why I'm saying this is that because growth often means losing the audience that only loved you, that only loved the edited version of you. That is why you hear things like, oh, you are doing too much. Why don't you tone it down? Why are you behaving like this? It is too much for us. What is all of this? And I'm like, are you okay? Is everybody okay? But the thing is that if someone wants the diluted version of you, that person is never ever supposed to be in your life in the first place. And when things like this happen, that can hurt. But I have clarity. I have clarity. I have peace of mind. I love who I am. I love where I am in my life and how I live my life. And that is something that I'm okay with. I am editing a video at the moment that I poured my heart out that I'm going to post on my African Gay Igbo vlog channel. And I try to share certain experiences from time to time because I know it is going to help someone that is struggling. Because this is important. This is why we have community. Community is absolutely important. Representation, visibility, and truth is important. Permission, permission, permission. Building your life and constructing and doing things without anybody's permission. Building yourself without approval means choosing partners that align with you, speaking truths that challenge tradition, creating platforms that disrupt silence, pursuing careers that don't fit expectations. It means internal validation replaces external applause. You need to validate yourself and don't expect people to be clapping for you, because if people are clapping, yes, they clap for you and clap for you. Then what? If you don't have that love internally. And the thing is that shift is powerful, because when approval is internal, it can never, ever, ever, ever be revoked. Never. Look at me. They cannot take away my fabulosity. They cannot take away my self-love, my peace of mind, my approval, my validation of myself, my acceptance, and all of the things. That can never, ever be taken away from me. Nobody can do that. And I want you to know this, that you've got this, that you are stronger than you think. We are stronger together. United we stand. We LGBTQIA plus individuals are powerful. I need you to realize this. I need you to know this. We are not going to romanticize this. Autonomy costs. Autonomy will do something. It can cost you. It can cost proximity. It can cost comfort. It can cost family unity and harmony. But you know what will cost you extremely more? Dependence. When you depend on people who don't love you, who don't care for you, who use their love to dangle and wave it all over your head, who want to silence you, that will cost you more. Dependence costs authenticity. And authenticity is not something you can keep negotiating forever. You do not want to negotiate your authenticity forever. For someone like me, I did that for some time, and that made me extremely miserable. It was one of the reasons why I came out, because I was like, why am I trying to make myself small? Why am I trying to be somebody that I'm not? Why am I performing? Why am I doing this to myself in the name of your approval, in the name of your love? Why? And I said, no, I'm not going to do this to myself anymore. What does self-approval feel like? It is quiet. it is done within you, you will know when it happens because it is not something that is dramatic. It feels like sleeping at night peacefully, making decisions without panic, speaking without rehearsing, loving without hiding. You don't need everyone to understand. It is not their business. You need alignments. And alignment is stability. I said this to a friend of mine. I said, I don't need everybody to understand me. I have some gay people who do not understand the way I live my life. I don't care because I'm aligned with myself. I live my life the way I want. I'm happy with the way things are. I don't care what they think. They don't need to understand me. I don't care. People do not need to understand you. You need to understand yourself and learn how to live your life unapologetically. Let them go there mumble and say whatever they want to say. They do not need to understand you. As long as you understand yourself and you know that you are living your life peacefully and unapologetically. When you build yourself independently, people may label it rebellion. But rebellion is reactive. This is intentional. You are not fighting for chaos. You are choosing coherence. You can still love your culture, where you come from, your family, and every of the things. There's nothing wrong with that. You will still love them. I love everything that has to do with my culture, my tradition, my language, my people, belief system, the spirituality, all of the things I do. I love it. I just refuse to let them restrict my growth, restrict my peace of mind, my harmony, my joy, and everything that brings me calm. Because you are never going to make me feel less than. You are never going to do that to me. I refuse. I refuse. I refuse. If you are still waiting for someone to say to you, it's okay, we are proud of you, you have our blessing. Ask yourself, how long are you willing to pause your life? Permission is powerful, but it is optional. You can build your life without anyone's applause. I've said this so many times in so many ways. And sometimes that's the bravest construction of all. Building yourself without anybody clapping for you, applauding you, and telling you and patting you on the back. That is extremely brave. And a lot of us queer people are brave in that way because we continue to build ourselves and continue to do things emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, and otherwise. We are brave. You know the thing, when you trust yourself, approval becomes a bonus and not a requirement. Yeah. Whoever wants to approve me and do whatever, that's on them. It doesn't stop me from living my life. I will continue to be myself. And I want to let you know that you are fabulous. You are wonderful. You are amazing. There is nothing wrong with you. The way you are is okay. You can live your life unapologetically. Do not allow anybody tell you that you are wrong. There is nothing absolutely wrong with you. Your life is what it is. Live your life. Build intentionally. Stand independently. And don't delay your life waiting for applause that may never ever come. Okay? You are fab. You are the light. I have been Charles. Okay. This has been Igbo Queer and Unfiltered podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Have a wonderful time. I will see you in the next episode.